So today we are going to spend a little bit of time walking through the BLK2GO. We're going to go through this. We're going to talk about the specs, talk about what it is, how it does it, and then I am going to actually show everyone just a little bit of data that was captured with the BLK2GO, how I can bring that into AutoCAD and really quickly capture and create 2D floor plans in AutoCAD with that. Then I'm going to take it into Revit and show you exactly what we can do inside Revit with that data. We'll probably be here together for 45 minutes. Then we'll make sure we try to get everybody's questions addressed. So without delaying too much further, we'll go ahead and jump into this. So I am Jeff Bowers. I am the technical manager here at Imagine Technology. Been here for quite a while. I saw some familiar names on the list. You've probably heard me give presentations before. Been in the industry about 25 years. I am a certified instructor, certified Revit professional. We at Imagine really focus on reality capture in the way from the aspect of all things like a scanners. I am a part of Augie. I've been an Autodesk University instructor before, and we also teach at the Hexagon Live conferences. So enough about me. Let's get into what the BLK handheld is. It is one of the coolest things that Leica has come out with recently. This handheld scanner is going to allow me to create these 3D spaces as I walk. It is using real-time or collecting that data in real time using SLAM technology. Talking about SLAM technology, simultaneously localization and mapping. We'll get more into that here in a minute. But looking at this, okay, there's about 6 things that I want to features that I want to point out that are things that we get a lot of questions about. For instance, how heavy is this unit? Well, this unit's made out of lightweight aluminum. It's going to weigh about 1.7. We'll round it up to 2 pounds. And that does include the battery. The other thing that we want to touch on is it is the smallest handheld. There's a lot of scanners out there that are handheld, but a lot of those scanners, we have to have backpacks to carry all the wires and the cables that attach to the units and everything. This is it. What you see on the screen, this is all I carry. I can carry an iPhone to see what I'm doing and see where I'm walking, but this is everything. And this unit's going to give me about 45 minutes of continuous scanning capabilities. And then data storage is going to get me about 6 hours worth of data storage. What's different from this unit, what's one of the things that's really different from this unit compared to the BLK360 is, well, obvious, I can walk with it. But for those of you that have a BLK unit, a BLK360, this has a USB-C port. I know some of you are going, oh, that's great. This USB-C port has been phenomenal. This is how I'm able to download data directly to my PC straight from the unit instead of having to do it wirelessly. Can I do it wirelessly? Absolutely. Absolutely. The light guide, the multicolored, multi-segmented light guide that enhances the BLK is simple, intuitive, very, very, very easy to use. You don't really need a high skill set to be able to use this. The photogrammetry or the photos that it's capturing are really, really, really nice, crisp, and clean. It does have the dual axis lidar dome, and it's going to capture up to about 420,000 points per second. It's fully protected, so you see the top of the unit, it looks like the big glass dome. I've had it in a bunch of different scenarios, being in quarantine, having the scanner in hand. I try to test different things. So I did a walk through the woods the other day with the BLK2GO. I was able to walk down the street, into the woods, around the woods, back up to our house, and it never, ever had any issues. It stayed connected to the iPhone, so I could see where I'm going. I can see that data real time. Very, very, very easy to use, and the data was very nice looking. We move into the multi-camera system. The BLK Vision system is a 12 megapixel camera. It gives us great high contrast imagery and helps visualize the navigation via the SLAM. So you'll notice in the picture here, you see the word Leica on the front of the unit. Right below there, there's two cameras. There's a camera on the right-hand side and a camera on the left-hand side. The three cameras along the same axis around the center, that is my SLAM. And also, that's how I can take my digital pictures if I want to. The Grand SLAM, again, as I said before, simultaneous localization and mapping is a combination of high-speed dual-axis lidar, multiple camera systems. In order for us to put all that together, that's allowing us to use the south navigation for the BLK2GO. There's a lot of moving parts in this device, but it so far has just been amazing to work with. Getting into the key specs, I know a lot of times I don't go too deep into specs on a call like this, but with the BLK2GO, I've decided, you know what, let's do it, because there's a lot of things on here that we want to take a look at. For instance, the field of view is 360 degrees by 270 degrees vertical. So 360 degree horizontal, 270 degree vertical. High resolution camera, we're looking at 12 megapixel, and that is a rolling shutter. Panoramic vision, which is, again, this is going to assist in the SLAM technology. It has the 3-camera system. Those are 4.8 megapixel, and those are also rolling shutter, but you'll notice that those are only 300 by 135 degree rotations. More importantly, relative accuracy is between 1/4 inch and 9/16. That's a pretty good separation between those. But again, what you have to remember is this is significantly different than traditional stationary lidar. All right, I am picking this thing up, and I'm walking at a speed. You know, I can walk fast, I can walk slow. Does it help? No. Just whichever pace you walk at is what you do. The absolute position accuracy indoor is about 3/4 of an inch. So for those of you that, you only do interior spaces, and, when you think about this, when you go out to a job site and you're measuring, I'm going to use a school building. All right. If I'm renovating an elementary school and I want to walk through, there's no existing prints. How accurate are you pulling your tape measure? Something to think about. A lot of people go, I measure it to the nearest ½ inch. I measure it to the nearest 1 inch. This is going to fall right into that category. If I can walk a job site and scan the data, be within about 3/4 of an inch accurate, but I can walk that whole building in a matter of maybe an hour. We can't physically go out and use a tape measure and measure a building, the entire inside of a building, in an hour. And I'll give you some examples of absolute times that I have done here in a few minutes. Internal memory. It does have 24 hours of scanning compressed data. So there are two options, compressed, uncompressed. If you The compressed data, the quality of the photographs is going to be a little bit less than uncompressed. If quite honestly, if I'm doing interior spaces, I'm probably going to run that on the compressed data just so I can capture more data quickly. If I'm going outside, I want better photography, so I'm probably going to run that as uncompressed. I don't get as much storage, but I get a little bit better photographs. Battery. I'm going to give a huge shout out to Leica on these batteries. It says 45 to 50 minutes. I've had my unit for a little bit of time now, and I'm getting anywhere from 65 to 75 minutes. I'm sure that as we use these units more and more and more, the battery life is going to get a little bit less. So we're going to stick with the average of about 45 to 50 minutes. You can walk a tremendous amount of square footage in 45 minutes. Tremendous amount. The range. Looking at the range of this unit, up to about 25 meters. Which is basically if you're within 2 feet to 75 feet, you are going to be capturing data. Hands-on, School of Hard Knocks, I'm seeing really good data at about 30 feet, 35 feet. It really, really captures a nice point cloud at that distance. And, of course, the closer you get, the little bit better it gets. Point measure rate, as I stated before, we are in and about the 420,000 points per second. To give you some idea of that amount of data, the Leica BLK2GO, which is the traditional fixed location lidar, is going to get me about 320,000 points per second. And the RTC, which is their newest unit, traditional lidar, that's getting me about 2 million points per second. So it's better than the BLK, but not as good as others. Competition-wise, we're actually in and about a little bit more than our competitors. Operating temperature, I know there's quite a few folks that live in the north where you get cold temperatures. The operating temperature is 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 105 degrees Fahrenheit. I quite honestly have not had the opportunity to test this. Here in Virginia, we're only in about the 60s to 70s, depending on what day of the week it is. I've had it working in 80, and I've had it working as low as 40, 45 degrees, and have had no problems whatsoever. Like I said earlier, again, data transfer, this is phenomenal. I love this. USB 3.0. The USB connection is actually under the battery housing. So I take the battery off, plug in the USB 3.0 connection, set it in the cradle, plug it into the computer. The computer will power it on and allows for the transfer of that data. That transfer of data is fairly quick. Software. This unit will only work in the Cyclone family. So either Cyclone Register 360 or the Cyclone Register 360 BLK edition. The BLK edition was introduced back in late November, early December. It is a simplified version of Register 360, meaning that Register 360 BLK edition will only work with the BLK 360 and the BLK2GO. So great software that we have to use with it. So, I debated on whether to put this in because some people may know what the BLK 360 is, which is a scanner on the right. Some people may not. BLK2GO on the left. They are not equal. They do two similar but completely different ways of capturing data. There's a major difference. So we need to make sure that we understand what those differences are. You need to deciding on looking at, or let me back up, looking at the type of projects you do. One may be better than the other. For instance, if you have to have an accuracy of at least a half inch or quarter of an inch accuracy on your drawings from the point cloud, then I'm going to tell you you're going to need to go with the BLK360. But if our intent is to, man, I got to get in, I got to scan this area really, really, really fast, and as long as I'm within 1 inch, 1 inch accuracy, I'm happy. Well, then the BLK2GO may be a better solution. So we do need to take care of which technology is right based on the project requirement. Now, BLK, if you have existing scanner, if you have an existing Leica scanner, if you're thinking about adding this BLK2GO to your arsenal of tools, what's nice about the BLK2GO is it works with all of our existing Leica software that you have. So at that point, it's just a minimum purchase of getting the unit in your hand. Now, so I kind of went through that. I feel like I flew through that, but how do I get started? All right, what's the cost? What are my options? So looking at this, how do I get started? The BLK2GO and accessories. The BLK kit, you're going to be looking at about $60,500 in U.S. and $78,500 Canadian. What does the kit include? It includes the table stand, which if you look at the picture on the left-hand side, it's the little disc that it's sitting in. It does come with a transport case. It is a hard case. It only houses the BLK2GO and the 3 batteries. It looks like a pill, a plexiglass pill with a little carrying case. It does come with a multi-charger that will charge up to 4 batteries. It charges 2 batteries at the same time while the other 2 wait. It also comes with a wrist strap, and like I said, it comes with a quantity of 3 batteries. Because people go, well, the charger holds 4. Why doesn't it come with 4? You got me. Because they chose to provide 3. But I will tell you, I haven't been in a scenario yet where I've needed more than 2 batteries. I was at a couple universities doing some product demonstrations, and we scanned huge area, and I used half a battery. So 3 batteries is going to be all you probably ever need. Can I buy an extra battery? Absolutely. You are able to purchase an additional messenger bag, which is the exact same bag as the BLK360, and it does very, very easily hold everything that's in that accessory kit. It goes on airplanes very, very well. In fact, I've traveled with it about 7, 8, 9 times. And you start going through security, TSA, security says, "Hey, what's this?" I'm like, "Man, it's a handheld 3D camera." And they're like, "Oh man, that's really cool." Push it right through, never really asked any questions. That's been through Chicago airports, New York airports, Florida airports, never had an issue. And then also, we will want to include the CCP. CCP, for those of you that don't know, is Customer Care Package. Basically, it's yearly maintenance on the machine, updates, firmware updates, and technical support. So the next question we ask is, okay, I've decided to do this. How do I add this to my firm? That's where we at Imagine Technologies come into really helping make that investment. And we do that by offering what we call our implementation service or a Smart Start. Our Smart Starts are basically 2 days, very customized to your need, on site. We basically, our first day, we go out to the job site with you, and we really work on all different scenarios, different things that could arise, things that you probably haven't thought of, that we're going to say, hey, look, let's do this, and this is why. Trying to get you to think outside the box, because what's going to happen is when we leave, something's going to happen and you're going to need to know how to fix it. Well, that's where, because myself and my counterpart, we've been doing this quite a long time, we take valuable lessons that we've learned from clients in the past that have had issues. We take where they've had issues, we include it into the training so that we can start preventing you from having those issues. You guys, once you do this, you do a Smart Start training program, you'll hear me say it quite a bit, where none of us are as smart as all of us. We have clients teaching us where they've had issues. We help them fix their issues, but now we better ourselves at our education program by eliminating those potential issues for you as we go. When you do purchase the BLK2GO hardware, you will be also purchasing the Leica software. And so day 2 of our customized training will be us holding your hand, going through step by step on all the software, how to do different things with the softwares, how to get it out to the final consumable. The consumable being, I got to create a Revit model, I got to create an AutoCAD drawing, whatever. We take you into the Autodesk products and we teach you how to use that point cloud data in those scenarios. We are not just going to simply teach you the Leica software and say, good luck. That's not our philosophy. And these can be held at your office or at an Imaginate classroom. So with that said, now what I am going to do is I am going to come in here. I am going to share my other screen so that I can take you into AutoCAD and show you what we can do with that point cloud. Before we do, I am going to look at Register 360. I brought that data in. I imported it. The point cloud that I am going to show you took a total of, I will open it up here. Bear with me just a second. This is, it was about 10,000 square feet. And this is captured with the BLK2GO. It's about 10,000 square feet approximately. I think it was a little bit less, like 98, 90. But it took 6 minutes to capture all of this data. It took 10 minutes to process the data. So when I come in here, I open up that scan location. Okay, this is, if you remember, the 270 or the 300 by 135. It's not going to capture me behind the scanner. So what you're looking at is the data that is collected with the photographs. If I turn the photographs off, this is the point cloud data, and this is not, I have not done any cleanup at all to this data. Now, before I go any further, those of you that have done scanning before, you're going to say, man, that's completely different than what I've ever seen. It absolutely is. The first time I saw this, I'm like, whoa, wow, I don't know. But remember, I'm capturing this as I walk. And if you start putting that into perspective, you start realizing, man, that captures data really, really nicely for being able to walk around this space as quick as I did. I'm not the slowest of walkers, so I probably walked about this speed, maybe a little bit slower, to go through this area. And you'll notice that I got all of the columns, I've got the thickness of the walls, I got pretty much everything I need. If all I'm doing is creating 2D floor plans, this is phenomenal. So if you think about it, thus far, we'll call importing it and processing the data an even 10 minutes. Scanning the data, 6 minutes. I'm at 16 minutes as of right now in this about 10,000 square foot area. It took another 7 minutes to publish the data out to our Leica LGS format. All right. Once that is done, I am now at 16 and 7 is 23, 22 minutes. The size on my file is 612 megabytes. That's pretty good. Now, I got to get it into AutoCAD. So right now, I'm at about, we'll just call it, we'll round up, even 25 minutes. Well, now I'm in AutoCAD. Now I start a drawing. I am going to come in here utilizing the Cloudworks tools. Cloudworks is a Leica software that sits inside of AutoCAD or Revit. I am now going to open up that LGS file. All right, let's bring it in. We'll pick this one. There it is. And I'm going to hit OK. So there's our point cloud that we want to start working with in AutoCAD. Well, if I just simply want to do a quick 2D drawing, that's pretty simple. What I'm going to do here is come up to my wall slices. I'm going to say, you know what? Let's do a quick slice on the wall here and that wall. There's my 2D slice of that room, that space, okay? Now I'm going to come in. I'm going to turn on my work plane, and I am going to come in here, and I'm going to pick single point polyline. So now I'll come in and say, you know what? Let's pick that line, that point, those points there. I don't have enough. I may not have enough data here. So down at the bottom, I can say, you know what? Let's change it to a 2-point. And now I can pick this side and this side of the door, and it'll automatically best fit my 2D line work to those points. So I could continue that same trick, pick there and there. Maybe I pick the wall. I'm going to pick the inside of the wall here and that wall. And then maybe I'm just going to do a quick close of the wall. So I hit enter. So right there, you'll notice that if I turn the point cloud off, I'm just going to come into my clipping manager, uncheck that. Oops. Just kidding. I'll do that. And I want to turn off the point cloud. Right there, I created most of my room by maybe 4, 5, 6 picks. I'm very accurate. If I go ahead and choose to close that, that is a closed polyline. So now, just that quick, I was able to create a 2D floor plan. Now, we always have instances where, you know, we may have really unique columns. All right, I want to be able to recreate that column. Okay, great. We'll come back. I'll use that same 1-pick polyline, and I'll just start picking, and you'll see that it tries to go around. Every once in a while, hey, it hiccups. That's okay. But look, if all I got to do is go, yep, that goes there to there, and start, you know, closing these together. Oops. and all I got to do is this, 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 and this, and I've got that basically built from the point cloud. All I got to do is copy that around now. So being able to recreate geometry extremely quick in AutoCAD with a BLK, I mean, now let's stop and think for just, 10 seconds. If I go scan, let's go back to my elementary school. If I go back and look at that illustration, let's look at the elementary school. How fast could I get just a basic 2D floor plan of that little elementary school? If all I'm doing is walls, then as you can see, if I want to put windows in, we got standard blocks for windows. I'm going to insert that right there. Insert, 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 insert. Now I'm using my company standards and just dropping in those 2D blocks. So all is said and done, it probably should not take you more than about 10, maybe 15 minutes to do a little area like that. Very, 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 very efficient way of getting those 2D drawings put together. Now, getting out of AutoCAD and jumping into Revit, we're looking at a very similar workflow. I do have a black background. I am color challenged, so I need to be able to see point cloud data. So I gotta switch it to black. My apologies for those of you that think I should have a white. My apologies. I'll come to Cloudworks, same program, LGS. I am going to grab that exact same point cloud. All right. And we'll just say, yep, we'll put it there and hit OK. So there it is. It comes in. I'm ready to go. First thing I'm going to do, just like we did in AutoCAD. But I do want to add a little note here. For those of you that have been using Cloudworks for Revit in the past, we have some new tools. They have introduced new tools into the Leica Cloudworks for Revit showcase. Walls, doors, windows, brand new. They've added column, brand new. So one of the new things they've also added is the line tool. The line tool works very similar to the AutoCAD version with some enhancements. So I'm going to come in here, going to spin this around, go ahead and do a quick wall-in-wall slice. So I'll pick, pick here, pick there. You'll notice that it created a nice elevation slice, just like what it's done in AutoCAD. But the difference here is this. Now I come up here to my polyline tools. I can now say, you know what? Let's put a line here to here. And it's kind of hard to see, but you'll notice that it put a green polyline. I know. People go, oh, there are no polylines in Revit. Yeah, I know. You're right. Well, until now. Because these are polylines, because if I pick here and here, you'll notice that it best fit those two, and it tied those two lines together. So I'll pick here. Maybe I'll pick this piece of the wall. Maybe I pick this piece of the wall. And I could do this single pick. I just started the command with 2 picks, so I rolled with it. So now, once I've put in those parts and pieces, I'm going to hit escape one time. And it says, hey, what would you like to do? Okay, you can continue using picks. If I wanted to, I could hit my pull down and say, you know what? Let's do a 1-pick arc, draw an arc. Let's do a 1-pick point, draw a point. But you know what? I'm done. I want to hit end curve. What this is going to do is say, hey, you can't have a polyline in Revit. It's got to be a model line or a detail line. It can't be a polyline. what do you want to do with this polyline? Well, let's convert it to a wall. So let's say I want it to be 8-inch masonry. Which way did I travel? You know, so I drew from the left to the right. So I want that wall to go away from the inside. So I want it to go toward the right. I hit OK. Okay, there it just put in my Revit walls based on that BLK2GO data. I can't hear anything, but what I'm envisioning right now is people going, yay, that's fantastic. That makes creating models from point cloud data even more simple than it was before. It takes less effort on the end user. So, you know, we would continue doing this around putting in the windows like you normally would, but this gives you, you know, I just wanted to show you how easily we can take this BLK2GO data into AutoCAD, into Revit, and still be efficient with what we have to do, okay? More efficient would probably be a better terminology because, again, how many of us could go scan that entire space in 6 minutes, process the data in, you know, 10 minutes, get it out and get it into Revit within 20 minutes of being back at from start of the project to drafting lines, arcs, circles, walls, windows, doors, floors, ceilings within 25 minutes. Pretty fast.